Dear beloved viewers, welcome back. We are discussing certain situations that needs clarifications with respect to Zakat. Should we pay Zakat on these situations or not? And before we took a break, I was explaining to you that even if you save cash or in gold, you invest it for the purpose of performing Hajj or Umrah, and if whatever you save has reached Nisab and has complete Hawl, the full year, you will have to pay Zakat. You have to pay Zakat on it, and it will bless it, inshallah, and grow. The other question or another situation is a saver, Mr. Imran. Mr. Imran, he managed to save until it reached 900,000. And that was in the previous Ramadan. Last year's Ramadan, he was able to reach Nisab following gold standard. And until Sha'ban of this year, it grew to reach to the point of 1.5 million. He's asking, how does he pay his Zakat? This is a very interesting question. So, Ramadan last year, it reached a gold standard Nisab, and up to Sha'ban this year, it has reached 1.5 million. So we ask ourselves in these situations, it is probable that the 900 that he kept has grown because of maybe he kept it in an Islamic bank. And as we know, Islamic banks, term deposits, gets a profit share that enable it to grow. So if this growth is from the profit share that he got from an Islamic banks or from a profit share from a halal Sharia fund that he has invested, then we're saying it is quite clear he will have to pay Zakat on 1.5 million. So the end of year balance, Sha'ban, he has 1.5 as his current balance. He will have to pay Zakat on end of year balance. Another scenario could be this had increased because of he used to keep on saving. He used to keep on saving. Now, in this particular case, there could be two possible opinions, okay? But the most favorable opinion is again to pay Zakat, okay? To pay Zakat, even if that growth was coming out of savings from maybe his salary or maybe from his other source of income, etc., etc. The other opinion holds that he will have to determine for each extra, the other savings, he will have now to keep record and determine if these extra savings reaches their own hawl, their own year. So you had 900 in the month of Ramadan last year, and then this year, immediately after Ramadan, you managed maybe to add 50,000 Kenya shillings. So it has reached 900 950,000. So this second view holds that we will not consider this 50, because in this calculation 50, it completes its year in the other month. Okay, it will be in the Ramadan for this year. So we can't consider that because of the issue of hawl, because these additions that comes along the year have not completed hawl. So this is a second view that says for this extra that comes in between, we will have to keep their separate records so that we pay zakat on them once they've completed hawl. But the reality is this is very hard to do. Very hard to do, very difficult to do, to keep records for each that you add up on this savings account of yours for purpose of zakat. So the best and safer and more rewarding, because there is no harm in Islam for you to pay more zakat or to even pay zakat in advance. There's no harm. You are allowed to do that. So we advise, if Ramadan last year your balances had reached nisab, and up to Sha'ban this year it has increased either due to profits or due to your additional savings, we advise and recommend to you, pay zakat on the end of the year, end of month of Sha'ban, on the balance that it is there. So in this particular case, they say the balance he had is 1.5 million. So that is to say he will have to pay zakat in this regard. Dear beloved viewers, we move to other scenarios, other situations. As I said earlier, alhamdulillah, in our countries we have Islamic banks. And it is possible that one or some of us might have gone to seek financing for his business or for his personal needs. And sometimes one of the things that is required by the Islamic banks is for you to put what is called a margin of seriousness, or hamish jiddiya, amount paid as a security for covering the potential risk of failing to honor a pledge of buying from the bank in a murabaha transactions, for example. So you have put a certain cash as a security deposit, and mashallah, that cash which you have put has reached the nisab. Could be a silver standard nisab or could be a gold standard nisab, but has reached nisab. Now the question is, do you pay zakat on that money or not? And sometimes as well, this security deposit is required when you ask them to give you a bid bond, a performance bond, or payment advance bonds, and so many other needs. There's so many scenarios where the bank would ask for this security, not just in financing you in murabahas, but also in kafalas, in guarantees. You want a bank guarantee, they might want a cash deposit, or might want a security, and you could put in cash. So we're saying the owners of such securities, this is now the zakat, the answer on the zakatability of that security cash deposit you have put. The owners of such securities are required to include them in his zakatable assets. So you who have kept that zakat as a security for financing or for the bonds, you have to pay zakat for it, include it together with your other cash, okay, and your other near cash assets, and pay zakat for that deposits. So similarly, for cash that you have put in a term deposit of an Islamic bank, you will have again to pay zakat on that. So this is the position. Hamish Jidiyah, a cash deposit security, is zakatable if it has reached nisab by itself, or if you combine it with your other cash, reaches the nisab. So even if it has been withheld by the bank, but this is your money, this is considered your property, for which you need to pay zakat. Another situation in a modern day business, you might have been required by the government. When you apply for certain licenses, you might be required to put what is called a legal deposit. A legal deposit is the amount of money that the concerned authority require a company or a person to deposit in a particular bank in order to get a license. I know in certain businesses, like when you establish takaful company in some countries, you are required to put a legal deposit with the central bank of that country or in other bank that is recognized by the relevant authority. It has to be there as a legal deposit for you to get the license. Now the question is it zakatable or not zakatable? And it might not necessarily be on this kind of insurance company. It could be other licenses, other businesses, maybe mining, maybe fund management, maybe you name it. So any business of which it is legally required for you to put a legal deposit before you get the license, the position on its zakatability is as follows. 1. If such amount is to be retained temporarily, the company should pay zakat on it as part of its assets. So the company or the person who has kept that legal deposit in order to get the license, if it is simply retained temporarily, by temporarily here, normally we consider less than 12 months. Less than 12 months. Okay, then it is zakatable. You have to pay zakat for it. No exemption. But whereas this legal deposit is retained continuously during the whole period where you have the license, during the whole period that you are in that business, that is to say, this legal deposit has to stay with that particular authority during the life of the business. Now, we say you will not pay zakat on it, but you will come to pay zakat on it later days, those days when maybe you wind up that business and given back your money. So when you are given back your money after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years of operations, that is the moment where you will have to pay zakat of it. Now the question normally comes with it, I have to pay zakat for all those years? The answer is no, you will pay zakat only for 1 year, one past year. And this is the position of the International Islamic Fiqh Academy. This is the ruling by this important authority on matters of fiqh, on contemporary affairs and in our contemporary times. So dear beloved viewers, those are the position with respect to these several situations that we have discussed today. There are more, and we shall discuss them or explore them in our coming episodes. Until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.